I fucking hate vampires. Now, I know that's an abrupt way to intro this video, but really, I fucking hate vampires.
I was hating vampires before it was cool to hate vampires. Hell, I was hating vampires before it was cool to like vampires. It's not so much the vampire lore itself, but rather it's the fandom and the reactions to the lore is what drives me up a wall. I'm sorry, but nowhere in the novel Dracula does it state that Dracula pimped around Transylvania wearing guy liner. It was bad enough before the whole Twilight behemoth made vampires even more annoying and grating, but now when I say that I hate vampires, people think I'm just reacting to its popularity as some kind of contrarian counterstatement, or that I'm just simply jaded from all of the movies, television shows, and books that the genre has spawned.
It's because of this hatred of mine that I actually kind of like Vampire Wars. Now believe me, the show is otherwise insanely stupid and horrible, but it also takes a dump on the vampire mythos, and anything that can get the fans' panties in a wad is A-okay with me.
We begin our sordid tale with our main hero getting a call from some woman screaming for help. He hurries himself to make the save, but it's too late, as the woman has already been violated by a spiked club!
Japan, what is this, the third fucking time in a row we've had this discussion? If you can't write a story without rape in it, could you at least wait until after the 5-minute mark?
Our hero, being the chivalrous white knight that he is, fucking clocks the bloody psychopath against the wall before he covers up the woman's corpse and bolts for the door when he hears the sirens of cops. Of course, when walking the Parisian streets at night, one is bound to run into one of the many French whores. Our hero, whose name still hasn't been given, comes upon one while making his way back to his apartment. Well, it's supposed to be a French whore, but really it's another British actor putting on a terrible accent.
The Sûreté are looking for you. They just asked me if I knew where you were. They seemed really anxious to talk to you about something. I just thought you might like to know that.
Ugh, I can't even speak French and that makes my skin crawl. Can't imagine what Benzai would do if he saw this.
The French whore tells our hero that some suspicious-looking men have been looking for him, and warns him to not go back to his apartment. Apparently, those same suspicious-looking men were waiting for him here, so that warning of hers was dogshit useful.
Ha! I bet you fist fuck your wife because you don't know what to do with your cock! Puh!
Wait a minute. You used your dick to fuck? Angie, I got it figured out.
You know, if I were her, I wouldn't taunt the 10-foot-tall golem. Motherfucker takes shits that are bigger than her.
Now tell this goon to get the
Now, what have we learned?
Our hero all but hulks out at seeing the French whore take the dive. He doesn't open up a can of whoop-ass, oh no. He opens up a cannery of whoop-ass. But he's tranked from behind and finally goes down for the count.
Where the fuck am I? Shit! Who are you?
Are you comfortable?
Let me out of this cocksucking thing!
I don't know about you guys, but if I was in a cocksucking thing, I wouldn't want to leave.
As our hero comes to, bound up in some kind of contraption, he's offered the chance to work for some fat French guy or take the fall for the murder of the woman from the beginning. We also finally learn the guy's name.
I hear that before you were tranquilized, you killed 5 professionals with your bare hands. That's really very impressive performance, Mr. Honda. No, I think I'll call you by your real name, Monsieur Cookie. I prefer it.
Mr. Cookie? Is that supposed to be ironic, or is the guy's horrible accent that indecipherable?
Of course, it takes a bit of persuasion for Mr. Cookie here to come around, but a few seconds of riding the lightning is enough to make anyone agreeable. So they lead him up to Frenchie, where they discover that Mr. Cookie was only playing possum and bolts for the window.
You'd think that a guy who can afford lackeys, paying off political figures, and a mansion fully equipped with a torture chamber would have the dough to spring for some handcuffs.
Cookie here manages to trek back to a friend's apartment to lay low for a while, expostulating in internal narration as he does.
Meraki and I went back a long way. He'd worked with me on the Communist Direct Action Group in Japan. We'd hatched a plot to blow up Tokyo's financial district by dropping a remote-controlled airliner packed with high explosives into it. It flattened it like a dog turd under a steamroller.
Why a dog turd? I mean, wouldn't any kind of turd just flatten out like a pancake? I mean, it's a steamroller. That's what they do. I guess saying dog turd would be funnier than just saying a piece of shit, but couldn't they get a little bit more creative with their metaphors? Like, why not a rhino turd? Donkey turd? Cat turd? What the fuck am I talking about?
What Meraki was doing in Paris, I didn't know. And I didn't ask.
'Cause I'm kind of stupid like that. Cookie manages to sneak back into Frenchie's mansion and holds him at gunpoint, demanding to know what he wanted from him in the first place, and why he was needed. Turns out the American government are up to something called Operation Dracula here in France, and he needs someone outside of his office to investigate so he can deny any involvement in the operation.
While that does make sense in that regard, it still doesn't explain why the fuck Cookie ran away in the first place if he was just going to accept the job offered to him anyway.
Yeah. You want to find out what this Dracula project is, and you don't want to put one of your own guys on it, because you don't want to be seen to be investigating one of your allies. That's very underhand.
Play that line again.
That's very underhand.
That's very underhand. What, did the voice actor forget the last two letters of the word or something? How lazy is the voice director that he didn't spend the 12 seconds re-recording this obviously botched line and saving the actor from sounding like a complete asshole?
Now in future, when I contact you, I can't use your real name, so we need to think of a code name.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, as they're using Dracula, I shall be known as Bat.
Oh my god. What's worse is that he honestly thinks that name is cool. Dude, fucking kindergartners think that name is lame.
So, Mr. Cookie Bat regroups at his hotel where he's visited by a French whore who calls herself Marguerite, who tells him the shocking news that vampires may be involved in Operation Dracula!
And by the way, Marguerite isn't really a whore. I just call her that because literally within the first minute of meeting Mr. Cookie Bat, she's riding his hog. And she never appears again for the rest of the show.
Fuck, not even Golden Boy could fuck a woman so fast after meeting her. Yeah, it's official. Marguerite's a slut. Feel free to judge her accordingly. Later, we see Mr. Cookie Bat receive intel that a famous movie star, whose earrings are so 1992, has arrived in France, and that she is seeing a renowned doctor who specializes in blood disorders. This same doctor has some tentative connections to Operation Dracula, so Mr. Cookie Bat hightails it to the doctor's mansion, only to find that a vampire, who kind of reminds me of Julian Sands, has already gotten to the doctor first, and has the movie star next on his hit list.
Oh shit, son. Looks like Dr. Kavanaugh has you right where he wants you.
Which is exactly why the vampire just floats off. Yeah, he had Mr. Cookie Bat pinned and helpless against a wall, and he just pimps off while cackling like a hyena.
I am actually legitimately confused with this scene. He had him pinned against the wall, primed for the kill, and he just lets him go. And not only that, he just leaves the movie star, the whole reason why he was in the room to begin with, laying on her bed. Julian Sands is a retard.
Huh? Who the hell are you?
Well, since you ask, I'm Kusaburo Kuki, an employee of the French government.
I mean, Bat. No, Mr. Cookie Bat. Damn it!
Here, drink this now. It'll help you relax yourself. And don't worry, all I did was carry you here. I haven't interfered with you or molested you or anything.
I mean, up to the first knuckle here isn't considered rape, right?
Mr. Cookie Bat manages to sneak the actress out of her hotel and back to her aunt's house where she'll be safe. I think the dub script writer kind of knew that Bat was a lame nickname because for the rest of the show, everyone keeps calling him Mr. Cookie, which only barely helps. Apparently, her aunt has sent a letter from a doctor in Japan containing the test results and possibly the reason why she's being targeted by vampires. She takes the results pretty hard.
So shock me, what is alka chloride E2?
It's the name given to a special protein which was extracted from Lamia's blood crystals.
Okay. Way too much stupidity all at once. Let's just take this one thing at a time.
Why the fuck would her aunt, her manager, and agent be knowledgeable enough about hematology to know what Mr. Cookie was talking about? And did she really just say blood crystals? What, blood cells wasn't mystical enough a term for the story, so they bullshitted blood crystals?
Alka chloride E2 is totally different to the nucleic acid usually found in DNA in human blood. This means one thing. That her genetic information is not human. Lamia's DNA is not that of a human being, but of some kind of alien organism.
How did anime survive the 90s?
And of course, the actress takes all of this confusing and unnecessary bullshit like she just heard that her entire family was killed by a runaway puppy tanker.
Lamia!
No, it can't be true. I'm not even a human being. I'm some kind of freak. Oh no!
Lamia!
After he gets tired of hearing the waterworks, Mr. Cookie Bat decides to stop her crying by the only means he knows how: laying pipe.
Angie, look, I'm sorry I asked you to rim me at your mother's funeral. But you gotta see it from my perspective, alright? You were crying and you were upset. I mean, you might as well have just bent over and presented like a mandrill. Hello?
Oh, and for some reason, the actress switched clothes with Ashley Graham from Resident Evil 4.
I would make a joke about that, but thinking about Ashley and her whining for more than 4 seconds is worth no joke of mine. So let's move on.
Mr. Cookie Bat calls up Frenchie and tells him that he won't hand over the actress, no matter how much the vampires, the Americans, or the French want her. So he sets a trap for the actress, telling her that he has had her brother kidnapped, and that if she wants to see him again, she would have to cooperate with him.
Are you getting confused? Because it's only going to get worse from here, people.
After gearing up, he has the actress's aunt fly him to Frenchie's mansion. Okay, she's knowledgeable in blood disorders and microbiology, and she can pilot a helicopter? Who the fuck is this bitch? So Mr. Cookie Bat turns into Mr. Cookie Rambo and fires upon Frenchie's floppy-armed guardsman. Seriously, everyone who gets shot in this sequence acts like they just got a cattle prod to the base of the spine. Also, this is one of the most hard-to-follow action scenes I've ever come across in an anime. You see shots of random guards barreling down hallways and shoot at Mr. Cookie Bat, but then you see him peek around corners seeing a corpse of a guy we've never seen before, and then we randomly teleport outside where we have our climax with that gigantic motherfucker from before.
Where's Lamia?
What the fuck? What, did he spring a leak? Holy hell! How the fuck did I get this far into the review without mentioning the fact that this guy sounds like fucking Dr. Claw?
Apparently, they reckon these vampires are crazy for our blood. I hear it's to do with an unusual nucleic acid in our DNA. Shit! I'll get you next time, Mr. Cookie Bat. Next time.
No, don't shoot! Let's make a deal.
Cowering in fear and willing to sell out to save his own hide? He's French. Hi-oh!
Well, of course, Frenchie doesn't live to see if his souffle came out alright, but just as soon as Mr. Cookie Bat makes for the exit, he's pounced on by Julian Sands and brought before the tribunal. For the next 3.5 minutes, the show takes a proverbial dump in the heart of vampire fans everywhere, as Julian goes on and on about how vampires as we come to know them are really aliens who feed off the natural life force found in the blood of humans, and how the actress's blood can be used to save their king who has been in a coma for 5,000 years on Earth.
You hear that? That's the sound of Anne Rice trying to cave in her own skull with a tire iron.
So, Mr. Cookie Bat here decides to help the alien vampires reclaim the actress to save their king. The following battle, I find, perfectly encapsulates everything that is silly and stupid with the show. We got vampire commandos with machine guns firing on guys in trench coats. We got Julian Sands here clad in what looks like a clown's jumpsuit. We got motorcycle scenes that obviously ripped off Akira. And we got more spazzed out henchmen taking bullets like sponges.
Is this the vampire war we were promised? Because, I gotta say, disappointed. Though I do suppose the title does deliver more than fucking Psychic Wars did.
Mr. Cookie Bat manages to get on the plane before it takes off, but he is quickly knocked out, and instead of just pushing his limp body out of the plane and taking off, they decide instead to take off anyway with him still on board. Turns out Mr. Cookie Bat's badassedness is not enough to overpower Fatty here, but the actress makes the save by pushing a chair through the plane's wall. With her inner vampire unleashed, the actress makes quick work of the goons. Mr. Cookie Bat, being the dumbass white knight that he is, takes a bullet for her to save her life, even though she winds up being shot a bunch of times before taking care of the last man.
Ugh. You know, you could have told me you were immune to bullets. I swear to Christ, I better get anal after this.
Once again, the actress comes to Mr. Cookie Bat's aid and bites him, making him a vampire. I think. It's never really explained if she did, or if it's some other bullshit reasoning. Anyways, doesn't matter because the whole thing is finally wrapping up.
Lamia, do you understand exactly what's happened to you?
No, not really.
Join the club, sister. This anime is fucking atrocious. But at the very least, it's a funny kind of atrocious. And plus, I haven't seen an anime deviate so far from its vampiric source material since Dracula, Sovereign of the Damned. And before you ask, yes, its day is coming. But for now, let's shift our attention elsewhere. Where, you may ask? I don't know. New York, maybe. Till next time.